The time is now.
The governor again urging state lawmakers to pump more money into the state's roads, and now he's taking that message straight to them. It is the top story at 5:30. Good evening, I'm Janelle Stelson.
And I'm Brian Roach. A vote was expected on this issue at the state capitol today. That's where 8 on Your Side government reporter Pete Montine is live, of course, following this story for us. Pete?
Brian and Janelle, I just got word that House lawmakers are reconvening right about now at 5:30, specifically to bring this up. There will be no vote tonight, although there will be debate tonight on a transportation bill. The governor says partisan gridlock needs to end, so the real gridlock will stop. The road to fix Pennsylvania's ailing roads and bridges must go through state lawmakers in the House.
I urge the entire legislature to vote for this very nonpartisan, non-Democrat, non-Republican, non-labor, non-business, common sense bill for the people of Pennsylvania.
Showing partisanship has been put aside. The Democrat who tried to pass this plan before is helping out.
This is necessary, it's important, it's got to get done, and there's no excuse for not getting it done.
Corbett hopes House lawmakers will vote on a $2.3 billion transportation funding overhaul authored by House Republican Nick McCosey. His plan includes increasing gas taxes as well as a host of PennDOT fees. But some House Republicans think it's not the best plan.
The key is reprioritizing the dollars we already collect, using those to address the critical needs, but not going back to the Pennsylvania taxpayers and demanding higher and higher taxes.
As debate continues, the plan's supporters, like PennDOT Secretary Barry Schoch, want lawmakers to see what waiting will do.
We have an aging infrastructure, and these are remnants of it.
Not only to bridges, but maybe to taxpayers.
We either do this now or we pay more and more and more. We're paying more now than we should have, but we have to get this done.
State Auditor General Eugene DePasquale says if the can is kicked down the road for another 2 years, it'll cost the state double. Instead of $2.3 billion now, it'll cost $4 billion. Brian?
All right, Pete Montine staying on top of that issue for us. Thank you, Pete.
8 on Your Side government reporter Pete Montine is live at the state capitol with the latest developments. Pete?
Good evening, Kim and Ron. I just came down from the House floor where it seemed like this plan was about to be tabled. One lawmaker motioned to table this, but that motion failed. It would have ended this debate very abruptly. House lawmakers are still debating, though, tonight. They've been debating since about 4:15, nearly 2 hours. And it's on the House floor where this $2.4 billion transportation overhaul is facing its latest roadblock. The State House is in session tonight specifically to vote on this. The plan's opponents say its increase in taxes on gas and diesel could be overbearing. They're calling it an attack on families, but supporters are staying firm, saying the state's 4,400 bridges are in desperate need of this money and that drivers should be the ones paying for it.
This is a user fee. People are referring to it as a tax. It doesn't matter to me what you call it, but you don't pay it unless you use it.
It's kind of a mixed thing. It's good and it's bad. Nobody likes to vote for taxes.
It's very tough, and I don't like to put extra taxes on anybody out there, whether they're my constituents or not. But I'm a realist.
Now, Governor Corbett has been pushing this plan. He says if the House approves it, this will be a win for all Pennsylvanians. Governor Corbett is expected to sign this bill into law almost right away if the House votes tonight. Governor Corbett is getting what he wanted, a sweeping multi-billion-dollar funding overhaul for deteriorating bridges and roads. But just a few hours before he could say this,
I'd like to welcome you in Pennsylvania to a new era.
House lawmakers became the final roadblock in a special after-hours vote.
This was a tough vote. It's not a perfect plan.
Since the plan calls for a jump in the cost of PennDOT license and registration fees and an increase in taxes on a gallon of gas and diesel.
This is a user fee. People are referring to it as a tax. It doesn't matter to me what you call it, but you don't pay it unless you use it.
During these hard economic times, we're going to be putting the hardworking families of Pennsylvania in a tougher spot.
By passing the plan, Corbett says the House did its job, and he is doing his.
The role of government is public safety.
Though Corbett insists he is not going back on a campaign promise of no new taxes.
There is nobody in this room, there's nobody in this building, and there's nobody in the state can say how much is going to go to the pump.
As for those bridges where PennDOT imposed weight restrictions earlier this year, PennDOT Secretary Barry Shouk says those won't be lifted just yet. He says most of those projects will begin in the spring. At the state capitol, Pete Muntean, On Your Side, News 8.
Just how much will the change in the law cost you? It'll provide a $2.4 billion fix for the state's roads and bridges. Government reporter Pete Muntean crunched the numbers to find out the impact it'll have on you.
To fix the state's deteriorating bridges, the state needed to bridge a gap in taxes on gasoline and diesel. For years, a 12-cent state tax has been rolled into each gallon you pump. But now fuel wholesalers will be charged more in taxes. Governor Tom Corbett is defending the tax, saying it's too soon to judge.
There is nobody in this room, there's nobody in this building, and there's nobody in the state can say how much is going to go to the pump.
But 8 on Your Side obtained this report commissioned by the governor 2 years ago, saying the state does have an idea what you will be paying. According to the report, average drivers could spend an extra $22 on gas over the course of next year, and an additional $100 a year by 2018.
We don't expect the oil companies are going to eat this. Where they collect it, we don't know. May never know.
As part of this plan, PennDOT is increasing its driver's license renewal fees by $2 and car registration fees by $4 starting in July 2015. And drivers who break the law will also be paying more. Several traffic violations, including the fine for driving through a stop sign, will go from $25 to $150.
You know, it's not easy to do things like this.
The Corbett administration calls this the cost of progress, that even though your expenses may rise, now bridges won't fall.
The role of government is public safety.
Pete Muntean, On Your Side, News 8. What's being pumped into storage at the Sunoco off Limekiln Road is prized petroleum. This is the station's last load of gas without a new state tax.
We're facing a difficult challenge.
The companies that fill up gas stations, gas wholesalers like York-based Shipley Energy, will be taxed more starting January 1st. It's to pay for Governor Corbett's multi-billion-dollar fix for state roads and bridges. Shipley Energy says it just can't swallow the cost.
To take a 10-cent a gallon hit on a $0.015 profit margin, we'd be losing 8.5 cents a gallon on every gallon we delivered. We wouldn't be in business very, very long.
Sheetz says its price margins are thin too, that gas stations will not be able to take an increase in costs from wholesalers. That's why gas wholesalers think the costs they're going to pass along here will be felt here at the pumps in about a week.
Ultimately, it's going to pass down to the consumer. That's the bottom line. Tax increases don't go down well with anybody, but we've got a difficult situation in the state of Pennsylvania.
And while a 10-cent per gallon jump is a big change for the gas industry, they think it's a small price to pay for safety.
It's a cost of doing business for us. It's a cost of being able to drive on the roads.
In York County, Pete Muntean, On Your Side, News 8.